We are back after a long hiatus of about 7 months. It has been a while that we haven't sit down in this studio and made a couple episodes. So today we have planned to do about three, right?
Yeah, about
three
three.
episodes.
About three.
So we'll have 3 episodes for you, and hopefully we can do one in the next month or so.
But first, I want to address the elephant in the room here, Job. Oh, I shouldn't have said your name. You're like a whole new person right now. People may not recognize you from 7 months ago. They're saying, who is this new local? It is Job. It is, in fact, Job. I spilled the beans a little earlier. He's here. He is working on his fitness. He's drinking healthy now. You're eating healthy, more or less. Well, we have Ruffles and gummy bears here, but like no big deal. But you're doing well. You're on this fitness journey. You get your exercise in. You make it a point. I know when we were in Cayo and Cynthia and I we were eating, you even too a little bit. We're eating fried tacos and burritos, and you're like, I still got to get my run in. And Cynthia and I supported you in you getting your run in. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I'm proud. It's not an easy place to do that.
No, absolutely not. It's been a journey. Especially with our YouTube channels, we have our respective real estate channels, and I keep getting, it's like, Job, you're not the same person anymore, like looks and everything. And I can tell you, I have a lot of shirts to prove it that look fit me like a bag, And I guess it was the transition from going, if we look at the first couple episodes and how I spoke about eating and what's not, and, the couple things that had to happen to me for me to get to that point. And I have no regrets. I mean, I've transitioned into the running aspect of a life, and I love it. I think I just recently checked, and it's been about, since October of last year, 700 miles I've covered.
Wow.
So it's about, basically putting it like, I think last time I checked, it's like running Belize twice.
Wow.
Yeah, my goal
like
was
to Belize City and
from
Cayo,
north to south.
Okay, north. To
I
south.
have to double check again, but my goal was that I would have run 1,000 miles by October, which is next month. Unfortunately, I don't think I can run 300 miles in a month and a half, but at least I'll definitely probably be at around the 800 miles. So it's gonna be 200 short of 1,000 miles for my first year. And it's been great. Definitely the benefits of having lost the weight, and not just lost the weight, but just overall a much more healthier lifestyle. No more drinking, which is a hard thing to do in an island, but it's not hard if you have the right friends.
Right.
Definitely.
We're your friends, all right?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Because I was going to say cheers. Pellegrino to Pellegrino.
But the thing was, it's that you're not making me feel bad for not drinking. You're not ever mentioning, oh, you should drink, or oh, here's a drink, and why are you not drinking? It's like, I've had friends all around who've been cool with it and who've actually been very supportive of it.
Well, and we want the best for you, right? We want the healthiest for you. And I think that's what a real friend is. And you do see this around the island all the time. It's like the fair weather friends when you're drinking, and especially if you're buying, like they are there every day, all day. They're calling you, wanting to hang out with you. And then the moment you try to change your lifestyle, right, and you want to become the best person,
Absolutely.
right? That we want you to become the best person. But these fair weather friends, they just start to fizzle out and fade out as you're getting healthier. And it's fun to see too, to see you feel better. And, you're so dedicated to the fitness. I love you have like all the latest fitness gear. You got the camelbacks, you got the nice shoes. Job does love running themed donations too. So if anyone has something that they really like while they're running, just feel free to Amazon it to him. But, it's awesome. It's really awesome because on an island where we've talked about this, where the culture's drinking, right? It's drinking. What are you going to do on Saturday? Let's go to a bar. What are you going to do on Wednesday? Oh, we're going to go meet at the bar. It's hard to kind of disassociate.
And also one of the next things that was very important for me was that I realized, because, I've been single for a while, was who the person I wanted to meet. Mm-hmm. And without seeing this reel, I'm out at Saturdays in the morning, Sundays in the morning, doing my 4-milers, 5-milers. And I saw this reel that said about, if you want to date somebody, Go to the gym and see who's there Sunday, Saturday morning at 9 in the morning, because it will tell you a lot about that person. And it just subconsciously, I realized I'm like, I'm that person now. I am.
And yeah,
I am that person who's out at Sunday morning when a lot of people might be hangover and what's not.
or
Nothing wrong
still
with that.
not in bed from the night before. You're up at like the crack of dawn. You're up before our sun is even up.
Absolutely. Especially with San
Dawn, you're
Pedro
done by that time, yeah.
sun. It's like you need to be by 5. If you don't come out by 5, you're gonna be dying. I find myself like coming out, and I know I'll probably be coming back by 7:30 in the morning, and I am already dredging it because it's gonna be horrible, and it truly is, because just the sun is so crazy.
It gets warm.
But how about you? What have you been up to for the last 7 months?
Honestly, I just kind of feel like we're stuck in like February or March 2024. Like where I just feel like we've stopped. And then you're like, oh, we're in September right now. And to think about what's happened over the last 7 months, I don't honestly know. It's a blur. It's been a blur. The days, so now we have our baby, right? He is 9 months old at this time. But it's like the days go by so slow, but the months and the weeks go by so fast, right? So I don't really know, honestly, what's happening. There's no fitness. Like Job and I are supposed to be doing the half marathon together. I'll walk the 5K. There's a 5K element to it, right? I'm gonna be there though. We'll probably finish around the same time.
We were supposed to be a team, right? So we're supposed to run the half marathon.
I'll still be there, Job. I'll still be there, guaranteed.
Yeah.
But haven't really gone into that. I saw the personal trainer that I had at the gym years ago. And so she's like, where have you been? And I was like, we're at the grocery store of all places, right? So I'm looking at 3 boxes of mac and cheese. I had cream cheese. I'm like, not mine. I'm just working on my health. I'll be back at the gym soon.
You remember when we signed up, and we never showed up after day 1?
We did. We went to the gym. It was during COVID times. Remember that? So it wasn't too crowded. It was perfect. We went one day, and I think, where were you living? You were living up at your house you're at now, right? Yeah, okay. Well, I couldn't remember if I picked you up, but I was like, I don't know if Job's going to show up. And if I go and he's not there, I'm going to be really upset. Because it was early. We went it opens at 6, right? So we were there at 6. We went once. Twice. I think we went twice.
No, once.
Okay, probably went once. But remember, we did that. We did a workout. It was like the 10-minute workout. We did it 2 times.
Yeah, and I wanted to puke.
And we're like, that was good. We gave it a shot. But it's rough. I mean, it's hard getting into shape, right? Back into shape, whatever the circumstances. And here it is, you find 1,000 reasons to not do something. And I'm like, oh, it's just so hot. Oh, it's mosquito season. Oh, like I have to write this email, which takes me 2 hours to write, or oh, I have to do something. And the fact that you're doing it, I'm impressed.
Absolutely.
Nicely done.
Definitely. What else has been new?
From my end, well, let's talk about your dating life, because yours is a lot more interesting than mine.
I don't know about interesting, but all right.
I don't know where to start.
I don't like to go to Belmopan for a reason.
She just always keeps reappearing, that one, huh?
That one just always keeps reappearing.
Yeah.
She reappeared a couple of weeks back, and then she reappeared again, and I was like, no, devil, you're not going to get the best of me this time. It has, and I think that's one of the things that especially here in the island, I have my last 2 relationships were people from this island. Mm-hmm. And I strongly regret that very much. Not because of the person being a bad person. It's just becomes overwhelming if you're in a relationship in this island. And you just can get very flustered, having I don't know, I feel like that now. I feel like if
too close, like they're too close.
I feel like if I've dated anybody now, it would have to be someone out from the mainland, because there's this saying here in this island, and I know it goes for both guys and girls. In an island specifically, it is just never yours. It's just your turn. It's just your turn. And I'm pretty sure girls feel that way. And I'm not saying...
We're seeing a hand raise back
there. So it feels... and bear in mind, I don't know if they've ever Like one of my previous exes, I saw her often because she lives around my office, and she would always pass by around, and when I was outside or something, and I could see she would intentionally not want to create eye contact, and I would create eye contact,
You're so-
but I've never seen them with anybody else. So I've never come across them when they were with someone else.
Do you think you would have still tried to make eye contact if they were with someone else?
I don't know. I don't want to cause any issues. But that's the thing. So in the island, it feels like you're just
Churning.
It's just turning around, and that's just the case. And I was talking to our friend in Kikak, a mutual friend in Kikak, and I was telling her that, and she was like, "If you feel San Pedro's like that, what do you think about Kikak? That's so tiny." It's like my dating pool is 50 people, and out of those 50 people, nobody I want, right? So I guess that's the thing. Find yourself. I want to find myself somebody who's not from here.
Well, I guess it depends what you want too, because you could always just go for the tourists.
Yeah, but the tourists come and go. Unless
You want a long term.
Yeah, I want to.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm
long-term.
28. I'm about to be 28. So
You're still young. Yeah, you're still young. Men, it doesn't really matter.
I
You
just
ready to
wanna
settle?
I'm ready to settle.
Wow.
I feel like I am.
Uh-huh.
We'll see.
But you just can't live here. If anybody wants to start dating Job, feel free to reach out. Our email, what is our email address? The Gringa and local.com. Please send a resume and photos. I'll be monitoring, so don't worry. It's not going to go to him quite yet. And we'll just do a quick pass, see who's coming in, and then interview the candidates.
Why am I sweating so much? But yes, that last relationship, you've heard of it plenty, and it was as toxic as it gets. It was a friendship overall for a while. And
Anybody that toxic relationship would say.
it was
From the moment you started talking to her years ago, it was never a friendship. There was always one goal in mind.
well, it did caught up to that goal, and it was always that. But
But it was a friendship.
it was a friendship. But
Well, that friendship, and then you mean it was easy to talk with her?
no, it was a friendship because from the minute we got together, it was fun. It wasn't very independent. I'm very independent, and unfortunately, last relationships I've had, they're not very independent. So that's why I guess I craved that, having someone who didn't need me, but also was very good to be with.
Yeah.
Um,
And that's a sign of maturity too. As you get older and start seriously dating when you're older, let's say you're 30 years old, you've had 3 decades of living, and especially starting to create your own routine and do your own thing. So you'll find it too as you get older.
yeah, absolutely.
Well, not in all cases.
Not
But
in
it's
all
good. You want
cases.
to be with someone because you want to be, or you want to be with someone because you want to be with them, not because of the dependency factor.
No, yeah, exactly. And then having that person be able to. So this might be a little too much, but it's like having that person on the side who will always be there for you is always a good thing. I mean,
You're not referring to a side chick. You mean like that your main person always there for you?
kind of.
No, he's referring to a side.
You're referring to a side
Kind of like a
Oh,
side.
you mean with Belmo girl?
Yeah.
Yeah, so she's always going to be there. This is not good if we're trying to advertise for you to get a girl.
But no, but it's like that. It's a thing that it's moved on.
Okay, sure.
And it was funny because you remember all the times, we were over there. When I finally got into a relationship with it, and then it didn't end well either. And
And it didn't last long either.
it definitely did not last long. It was very enjoyable,
Fleeting, yeah.
very fleeting, enjoyable. I guess every good
Good things are
good
usually
thing
fleeting.
is usually fleeting. We're condoning here.
I don't know. The memories, I don't know how good they. Well, keep going though. Keep going with it.
But so the relationship ended, and that's when I was finding myself becoming a very aggressive alcoholic. So it was nice getting off of that and getting into a changing
Lifestyle.
lifestyle. And one of the things that I've come across that a lot of people here in Belize do not speak about is the necessity for guys to be able to have mental health checks. Not just saying mental health checks as in going to a psychiatrist, but just overall going to counseling to be able to process all the shit that we go through.
Oh my, so sorry. Is that my phone?
No, it's mine.
Oh.
Could you just mute it?
It might be her, guys. It might be her calling in to check in. Or she blocked finally.
Actually not, but there's always that door open.
I promise. Any good potential, we're gonna cut that door. Close that sign. Cut that door.
I'm kidding.
Keep going though. The
But,
mental health, yeah.
The aspect that guys throughout the world are not supposed to, we're not supposed to
Show emotions.
show emotions and all that stuff, and being able to go through the process of healing and from my own shit that I put my own self through, and then being able to get to a point where I feel like I'm not just physically at the best place in my life, but also mentally and emotionally at the best place in my life. And I guess that's
Good idea with the seltzers.
The seltzers. And I guess that's where it comes when it comes to now I'm at a place where I'm serious to find someone who I'm gonna be serious about. And that whole journey that every human has to go through. Some people find it at 18. I'm not saying the dear person, but just overall like what they want to be and find themselves. Some people find that at 18, some people find it at 24, some people find it at 32, whatever the case is. It is important that you know that it's there and you just have to keep pursuing it.
Right.
Because now I'm at a point where I'm no longer wanting to waste someone else's time. No longer wanting to waste my time.
Right.
I'm a very busy guy. You are also a very busy gal. So it's not something we look forward to being as just entertainment. And that's what back to the things why I don't want to date in this island. Because it's just entertainment here in this island. So that's what has been going on. And I guess we'll see.
Well, and I think you've really touched on a great point here is you need to be in the best state in order to attract that as well, right? Because otherwise, if you're meeting people at the bars because you're there every day until 2 a.m. and you meet the other person that's there until 2 a.m, well, that's, you may not have the most stable relationship because you're out there obviously looking for something. So it's interesting, and I'm really proud of you. I know I said it a few times, but it is a big journey and not easy. And something that I've seen here is just like you're saying, it's the lack of mental health, but it's also the stigma of mental health. People are like, oh, you're talking to a psychiatrist, you're going to counseling, you must be crazy. Like, you're crazy. Why are you doing that? You can just figure it out on your own or deal with it or just hide the emotions. And, you look at some of the issues of domestic violence or alcoholism or some of the real serious issues here in Belize, and a lot of it stems, I'm no psychiatrist, right? But it would make sense that a lot of it would stem from unhealed traumas, unhealed understanding of thyself and why you're doing things that you're doing. And when you're able to really take that time, and I do think a lot of it needs to be when you have a clear mind, right? And fine, drink, smoke, whatever makes you happy, whatever is best for your situation. But a lot of times that clarity comes when you're having sober moments.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. And what I've noticed too as well was like when you take away the alcohol, it just makes a huge difference. Mm-hmm. A huge difference in the way you see the world, in the way you look at it. October 15th is going to be my 1 year. My 1 year going sober.
Wow.
So
let's have a party with Pellegrinos.
With Pellegrino. But now that I see other people celebrate their being sober, I realize that you don't go sober because of not wanting to spend the money on alcohol. Mm. Or obviously, yes, it's nice not waking up with hangovers and what's not, but you go sober and you go through that journey of sobriety because it will give you so much more clarity for life. And not just clarity, but also the amount of energy and what's not that you invest in getting drunk, and what's not you can reinvest it in
Yes.
other places that make a world of a difference to your life. So yeah, that's about what we have been going on, and business has been good.
Well, and it's funny that you say that though, because I feel like I can see a difference between your videos between now, and of course it comes with experience and doing the videos and being in the real estate industry for so long. But like, many of you know that Job and I are very friendly competitors, and many times, what we find in real estate too, which is funny, is a lot of clients will reach out to multiple companies, and Job and I can instantly say, if he's telling me about a situation, I'm like, is it this person? He goes, yeah, they reached out to you too, right? But I can just see in your videos that you have put so much more thought and time, and you've really gotten a great grasp and handle on the market here. And I think you probably, and really and truly, are the best provider of real estate information on the island here. And really and truly, like, you're the only one who's being really consistent with numbers and showing the data, and you have this real depth and understanding. And you're not just out there selling your own listings, which a lot of the other real estate agents out here do. You say, this is what it is. I can help you find what you're looking for, if you're looking for Job's service. And I think a lot of that has come because, you're not out drinking all the time. You're able to concentrate and put the time into the work. What would you say is like the hardest part?
Food.
Let's talk about the drinking. Yeah, and then we can talk about food. From the drinking part of it. Like, were you craving it? I know in the beginning it's always a little bit harder, but like, were you craving at any point, or is it just when everyone was out?
It was actually, at the beginning, it wasn't hard, because when you begin, you have that strong will and motivation. Like when you start anything, and then it becomes a habit, and then you realize you don't need it. But it's in a couple of key moments. Give you an example. When I was feeling like I was craving, I was out with a friend. It was her birthday dinner. I was out with her, and for some reason, I just craved a beer. I just really craved a beer. You remember when we went to Cheongsang?
Oh yeah.
And Cynthia got the ice mug.
Yeah, the ice cold mug with Chinese
with the beer.
food and like a light beer. Oh yeah.
I was like, because that was my happy moment back then, getting that ice cold mug and putting beer on it. And I was like, it's those. And I guess everybody deals with sobriety in a different way and their challenges. But for me, it was in those peak moments where I was like, maybe I should just have one. But then I was like, then I wouldn't be able to. And probably I wouldn't have gotten drunk, and probably I wouldn't have come back to my drinking habits, but it was not giving that one drink an opportunity, that was the hardest part when it comes to the moments of drinking.
And it's like you kind of least expect it to come then too, right? You would think it would be when you're out with friends, or when you're on the boat with everyone and they're doing tequila shots or something, that seems like the time you'd miss it most. Or
when you're in like social settings,
yeah,
you feel like kind of, and that's the thing. And again, go back to the important thing: being with people who are okay with you not drinking. Because I see it all the time, and I used to work at a liquor store for 6 years, so you see it all the time. The minute someone says they don't want to drink, it's like, what's wrong with you?
Yeah. And when it's like, especially here, there's like a culture, right? Because it's a drinking culture. So they're like, all right, I'll bring you something non-alcoholic. Wink, wink, wink. And you're like, no, like really though, I don't want something with alcohol in it. But it's true. I remember. So when I was pregnant, I wasn't drinking. So 8.5 months, right? Because for the first couple of weeks, you don't know you're pregnant. And I found I didn't necessarily miss it at any point, but there were certainly times in social settings where I was like, if I was as drunk as everyone right now, or had 5 margaritas like everyone, I would be enjoying my time a lot more, right? And then I would just sit there like the sober Sally, and you're of course tired and not feeling great, so just kind of sucky overall. But I remember the same thing. It's like you don't miss it necessarily. You don't miss it, but of course in those social settings where everyone's drinking, you're like, I know they're having a really great time. And then people come up to you, the ones that tell you the same story over and over and over. Like, yeah, wow, this sounds familiar. I think you told me like 5 minutes ago.
So what are some new spots that you've discovered in the last 7 months? Aren't you?
Oh, sure.
I know
can
you
talk all
go
about this.
more. You go a lot more places than I do.
So I think for me, one of the most exciting and one that I've really been thoroughly enjoying is Akasha, which is the new restaurant that is over there at Aruna. And so they're only open right now 4 days a week, but the brunch is so good. And so they're open Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And it's like, I've struggled to really identify how to explain Akasha, but it's like coastal Caribbean, farm to table. You know, they make their own bacon, they make their own jam, they make their own bread, right? I wouldn't be surprised if there's someone downstairs churning butter. Like, it's just a really, really good, like, hearty, fresh meal. And I think like on the island here, we have so much fried food, right? So much fried food. There's a lot of unhealthy foods too. And to have a place that's like has real ingredients is not always easy to find. And so that's one that I absolutely recommend. And you have great views. I like going over for the sunsets. The sunsets are right there.
Very beautiful.
And the cocktails are good. We went 2 days ago, yesterday. And so they do a lot of like handcrafted cocktails there. And you walk into the restaurant, they were closed yesterday and Wednesday, but you walk into the restaurant and it just smells like a fresh apple pie came out of the oven. That's cinnamon. Oh my God, it was so good. And they were making the cinnamon simple syrup for their drink they have called the Caribbean Mule. And it's like a take on Moscow Mule, but with a cinnamon flavor infused. It was so delicious. But, you know, there just aren't many, and it's a special event restaurant, like you have something, you have a wedding anniversary, you have a girls brunch and you want to catch up on things, you have a special outing, right? So it's not a place you're going to go to every day, but it's good.
I remember it was, I told you, I've been making a joke about it, wondering who's going to be the first girl I'm taking there. Because it's not a cheap place.
No, it's not necessarily cheap, and I think that it's...
So yeah, we want to clarify that. If you go there, I think like for a lunch, you'd be easily looking at spending $300 to $400 easily, I think.
Well, it depends on what you're buying too, right? But
well,
we'll give some examples, right? So we had that pancake. It's like a cinnamon roll pancake, and they had really good jam, and they had really good, it was like a cream cheese cinnamon spread. And I think it was like $14 US or $15 US. The cocktails are where it gets a little pricey because they're like $14 to $15 US.
I saw their brunch menu and I saw their lunch menu. The brunch is definitely a lot cheaper.
Oh yeah, dinner you should plan to spend about $30 to $40 US per plate.
Yeah, easily.
I would say, yeah, for like a main entree. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it's not I can see that for a regular Belizean, it wouldn't be a place where you'd go every weekend, but it definitely is a place that if you're looking to take a special day, special anniversary, splurge a little bit, it definitely is a place where you definitely need to go, because we've run out of not that the same old have gotten boring, but we haven't had any new high end dining experience coming to the island.
And like an experience,
yes.
Right? I mean, it is an experience because you catch the boat to go over there and you can watch the sunset, right? It really is. The pontoon's very, very nice.
Very comfortable, yes. Very nice.
Well, and like Ben, we had that when we were talking with Ben from Aces earlier. He was talking about going over there for a date night with his wife because it's quieter. You don't necessarily get all the interruptions from people coming over.
Absolutely. So it's great. Yeah, what are other places
that have opened up? A lot of places are closed right now because of slow season.
Yeah, absolutely.
What other new places? Like new restaurants. Well, Giotto now, a sushi restaurant, has their downtown
location
component, which is nice.
Have you been to it?
Oh yeah. We went a couple weeks ago.
No, I haven't.
Yeah,
yet.
It's nice. It's the one thing. It's like a little funny here because sushi is really expensive. It's like $16 US for an Alaska roll or something along those lines. And in the States, like I'm obviously compare a lot of stuff to the States still, and you can get that same roll for $7 US or $8 US. So it just seems a little pricey, especially if it's local fish that are around, but it's delicious.
Yeah.
The dumplings are good. Mm-hmm.
I haven't had sushi since my friend left to the States. We used to go for sushi dates all the time, and it was like...
We'll have to go. Yeah, especially now because both of our offices are in town, so we don't have to go all the way south to get to Giotto.
Yeah, let's do it.
That'd be good. Where else has opened up?
You know what happened to me? I went to Belize City, and I changed. This is why I don't like to change where I go usually. So I went to. I usually go to Cheongsang. It's my religion to go to Cheongsang for lunch.
What do you
And I
recommend
went-
at Jensen?
The pepper steak. So, I mean,
Uh-huh.
everything is good there, but the
Yeah.
pepper steak is amazing. And I went to this next place. I'm not going to mention their name. But the service was good. The meal was average.
Okay.
And the price tag was generous, I can say. And I was like, nah. Chongsang was definitely still my place to go.
Mhm.
And that's what I heard sometimes, when you go to a place
Yeah.
and you want to try something new and you come out and you're like, was it
Yeah.
worth it? Not really.
No, I
Yeah.
get it. I get
So
it.
it's-
That's we go to Friendship all the time, and now they have. So since I learned about the Singapore noodles at Chonsan, when I went to Friendship, I saw that they had Singapore noodles. And actually, did either of you eat the? Yeah, Cynthia ate it because I brought a bunch home since it's a huge portion. It was pretty good. It was like a curry, it was like
so
curry
you
flavor.
decide to give your friend Job a call.
You were probably running, honestly. You were with us. Yeah, you were there with us on the Skin Kayo.
You were like, I want to eat papaya that you had bought.
Which it got
Oh.
moldy and was not touched, and we left it outside for the birds. So
Oh, that one you're talking about.
I do appreciate the effort for that, but no, it was untouched, that papaya. Yeah, that one was really good. So if you go back to Friendship, that one's a good spot. But where else on the island is new? I mean, can you guys think of anything? No. Oh, I haven't been there yet, but the Brunelitos on Front Street. No, I don't know.
I
I don't
haven't
think I've
been
ever
in there
been.
yet, so I
Yeah.
wouldn't want to talk about it. It looks like a fun place.
It looked good for families. It
Yeah,
has like
family-oriented place.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Well, how about the mainland? What you been up to in the mainland?
well, we've been trying to go out more, but it's been hard. Luckily, we have business out there, so we have to go out to Cayo.
Yeah.
But it's been, I really do enjoy Cayo. I think the one thing is that it is a little hard to adjust to having a car again, but it is really nice to be able to have covered, like a covered vehicle. But Cayo, I tried Crave. You've been to Crave. I tried Crave for the first time. You know where it was actually?
When did you had it the first time?
I went for the first time like a month ago.
Really?
Uh-huh.
To Crave?
And then the other one that we
Actually,
tried is, Hidden Valley, how they just like completely refurbished the place. Oops, earrings down. Oh, that's fine. Where I'll take out the other one so it doesn't bug those people that are OCD on the other side. Do you know Hidden Valley?
Only heard of it.
In Mountain Pine Ridge. So it's a really beautiful place, and they have hundreds of miles of hiking trails out there, waterfalls all throughout. It's really quite stunning. And so there's a restaurant there on site that they invited Chef Sean Quillen to come and create the menu. And so we went there with some friends last week, 2 weeks ago, and it was delicious. Like, when you want a steak, like a nice steak in the States, medium rare. Like you get a steak, thick, medium rare. And here I feel like they come down and they just grill the shit out of it. They're like, we want to take away and risk any foodborne illness that we could ever get. So let's just char the crap out of this thing, right? So they deliver a hockey puck to you and you're like, delicious. You can't even chew on it. But we got a ribeye and it was thick. And it was so good. It was like medium rare, juicy. Oh, it was phenomenal. That's another place for an occasion, right? That you would go. And so I would recommend that one at Hidden Valley. I don't remember the name. Slate and something.
So I'm actually kind of just because I've been wanting to have that chef Quillen.
Good. Well, next time we're out there in Cayo, we'll
I
take the
always
trip
follow
over.
him online, and I always see his extravagant posts about how he cooks his meals, and he's a very funny guy. So it's a very funny guy to follow too on social media.
Well, and it just seems like there's thought that goes into the menu, and that he's really trying to prepare dishes that go together. Mm-hmm. So I would recommend it.
Absolutely.
And apparently there's 2 restaurants, and apparently they have one that's a little bit more interactive. Like when I think interactive, I think of hibachi restaurant, like Japanese hibachi, where they make the little volcano out of onions and have the fire coming out. I don't think it's quite like that, but it is right there in front of you where they're doing and cooking the meal right there. So it's more interactive, but they said that'll open next month or something along those lines.
That's great.
Mm-hmm. But it's something that you have to get used to out on the mainland is like driving distances. Here we're like, you got to, some places 200 feet away and you get in the golf cart, right? Instead of walking. Why would we want to break a sweat? But there it's like you're driving half hour, 45 minutes, an hour to get to certain places.
Yeah, that's true. When I was driving, I drove first. First time I'm driving in the mainland.
First time? I thought you drove before. I thought you drove before.
No,
you told me
fine.
you drove before on the mainland. That's why you used the car.
Yeah, that's right. I drove the last time. So I need to go get my license.
Yeah, well, it's not that much more difficult than a golf cart. It's just you have to be a lot more cognizant of people around.
No, absolutely. My biggest fear is crashing. Because a golf cart is like,
yeah,
driving in the middle of the road.
Rachel.
Ooh, never. You just want to be prepared if anything comes in from either side. So stay in the middle.
And the paint on the bumps.
Joke, it's a joke. Did you see though that, not to bash anyone, but did you see that they put up a post to like validate what they were doing?
Yeah.
San Pedro Council. I just got to say, like, I don't know where that picture of the traffic paint came from, but
I saw the station.
It's sus.
Yeah, it's very sus. It was just like a little too planned, that photo. Yeah, a little too planned. But I saw that and I think about it, and we're not reinventing the wheel here. Think of a state like Florida in the States. It's very similar to the climate here. You have the humidity, you have the rainy season. You also have massive trucks, bigger than these. You also have massive cars that are going down that freeway and the thruway all the time and on those lines. And those lines get painted, every 10 years, 5 years maybe? So I think we got somebody who knows paint, maybe reach out to town council and talk about traffic paint because those bumps are dangerous. Mm-hmm. And it is actually, I don't want to get morbid, but it's a real concern. You see people,
I've known someone who actually got themselves badly injured because of that bump that's right in front of Tres Cocos.
Yes. I live up north, so I go up and down at least 2 to 3, maybe even 4 times a day, right? So I have gone over that bump. Last night, I was just like pushing on my brake to make sure that I was stopping because you just couldn't see it, right? And there's no bump sign there, so you kind of forget it's there. But it's a real concern. If you're going to put bumps in, make sure that they're properly marked. Hopefully, but what do we know? We're just the drivers. What do we know?
What I've seen now is because with the start of all the school and all that is just a truck drama. It's just getting crazier and crazier.
I know.
So hopefully they'll address that and actually make something out of it because it's just terrible when you're driving in town. And I was actually it was funny because I had a Zoom meeting with a client today and it's like, okay, I told him, if you see, I showed him the map. It's like if you are 1 mile north, which is right along the bridge, or 1 mile south, which is right along the gas station, it takes you around 15 minutes to get from any of these points. He's like, 15 minutes? That's a terribly lot. I was like, well,
set expectations.
Set expectations, right? But that's what I noticed, and it's affecting a lot of the kind of lifestyle that San Pedro is supposed to be. It's supposed to be a chill island when you're here, and you're not having to be afraid that a truck will come and pull you out and crash into you or something like that. It's just getting real crazy.
Well, and I do remember too, like when the first time I drove a golf cart here in 2012, I was fidgety, and because there are no street signs here. And so you have tourists who are looking at Google Maps, right? Trying to stop, go, trying to figure out which streets are one ways, trying to figure out if I'm turning down the right street because there's no street name. So I'm going to stop and go. And you have to give them a little bit of grace, right? Because even we get overwhelmed and exhausted.
Sometimes I get pissed off when I see white people driving.
What I think gets me is when people just stop in the middle of the road. Did I tell you when we got into an argument with a taxi driver? Yeah, I'm very even keel, don't really get mad much, and I just started screaming at the taxi driver, and I'm jotting down the name of the license plate. So we were driving. We had our babysitter, and Ivan was driving, and then I was in the back, and there was a tourist in front of us. Right, we had a taxi cab behind us, a tourist in front of us, and she very clearly had no idea where she's going. And she's driving. She has her little coconut with her straw, and she's sipping out of her coconut, and she's just looking around, not really sure where she should be turning. And she's going slow, very, very slow down Middle Street. And so we have a taxi cab driver just honking and honking and honking behind us. And where do you want anyone to go on Middle Street? It's a one-way. You know, there's nowhere to go around. And then she like starts to speed up a little bit and gets fairly aggressive. And then my partner starts like, you know, throwing his hands up, and I just start throwing my hands up. And I'm like, what do you want us to do? You're like, there's nowhere for us to go. What do you want us to do at this point? So I like jot down the license plate number. I make a complaint to the traffic department because I was actually a little concerned that she was going to ram us from behind, the taxi cab driver. And she was inches away from us. And it wasn't our fault that we were going, so we're just going with the flow of traffic. So I put a complaint in the traffic department. Does anyone respond? No. So I sent another email and then another email. Nobody's responded. Every now and again I see her. She's still out there driving. So, you know, like on the back of cars, like, can you see this sometimes on the mainland? How's my driving? Call this number. Because they need to be held accountable too. Some of these drivers are crazy. You saw the one at Secret Beach? The cab at Secret Beach that like flew off the road. It was in flames. Yeah, like 2-3 days ago. Oh yeah, I went on to Secret Beach on, this happened Sunday night. I went on Monday, and it was still there in like the corner over right after Guapos. And it was right there in the corner, charred, brown. Yep.
So you flew out and it just caught fire.
Yeah, flames, up in flames, flames.
That's crazy.
Mm-hmm. So
that
you
is
just be
crazy.
careful.
Well, I'm glad that we're back, and I'm glad that we are hopefully going to be pushing out more new episodes. And absolutely, if you want to be in the show and have something to share about when it comes to the Belize lifestyle or the island life or your business, feel free to reach out. We're going to try to host another one in at least a month or two.
Well, we'll be more regular. You know, it was a little challenging, I think, for us to really get everyone on the same schedule and get our guests on the same schedule. But
absolutely,
we'll be back.
All right, guys. So thank you for watching. Remember to like and subscribe and share this with your family and friends. And we'll see you on the next one.
Bye, everyone.